Hi. It's been a while. uh, it's been like end of the year weirdness and then other priorities and stuff. But I'm back. Hello. If any of my voices are weird or different than before, oh well. We'll see. We'll see how they go. The number of students passing by the gate is very small, even for this time of morning. Just to make sure there'd be no way I'd miss Shuichi, I dropped by even before the gates opened and just hung around them, waiting for him to arrive. I also might not have been able to sleep much, which may have contributed to me being so early. Regardless, I lazily watched the few students that dropped by early in the morning while keeping my eyes open for a certain husky. Checking the time on my phone, I see that it's around the time when he'd be showing up for class. He'll probably come by any time now. Man, he's gonna be really surprised to see me here even before him. The last time it happened was by complete accident, and he still looked shell-shocked. Just thinking about... I... Just thinking about it, I can't help but pout a bit. It's like he has no expectations of me at all. Maybe I should start working a little bit harder to teach him a lesson. I bet he'd be real annoyed if I turned out to score higher than him on our next midterms. I'd love to see that look on his face. I'm sure it'd look lovely. But then again, he always does look lovely. What am I doing? I'm daydreaming about embarrassing stuff instead of paying attention. God damn it, Shuichi. My head is filled with so much of you lately. I'm definitely gonna make you pay for it soon. Ah, there he is. I see a familiar figure walking towards the gate, with his eyes glued to the ground, his bag slung over his shoulder and held behind his back. His tail swishes meekly behind him, almost falling between his legs. I don't even need to get close to understand what Saya meant. He absolutely looks like a zombie. Morning. Morning. He mumbles an unenthusiastic answer back at me, taking a few more steps past me as if it was nothing. Then, as if it had begun to click in his head, he stops in his tracks. Turning around, he stares at me with a blank look on his face for a few seconds before... Ah! You? Jeez, took you long enough. What are you doing spacing out this hard first thing in the morning? What are you... huh? Eloquent. You're sure to be valedictorian. How are you here this early? Same way as always. I walked. You know that's not what I meant. I was hoping you and I could talk, so I decided to get here early before you get busy. Is that alright? Oh. I guess that makes sense. Sure. We can talk. Let's walk a little over there. I don't want people overhearing us. I quickly point to a corner a few meters away from the main gate. Still by the front of the school, but far enough that no one can just pass by and hear us. And it's an open area, so if anyone starts getting close, we'll see them. Sure. Shuichi flashes me a strained smile, pressing his lips so tightly together that they form a thin line. Once we're there, I take a few deep breaths. I've already rehearsed what I wanted to say since last night. Now all that's left is saying it. When I feel ready, I turn around again, seeing Shuichi staring at me expectantly. It's pretty clear to see that I'm not the only one feeling awkward and uncomfortable in this situation. I think we need to talk about what happened last Friday. I measure my words and my tone of voice, trying to speak as neutrally as possible. Shuichi nods slowly, listening intently. I'm sorry to have put you in such a horrible position. I was trying my hardest not to cause any problems for you, but I messed up anyway. Oh, shit. I forget. Do I need to pause? I'll be honest that I still believe I was right. And I still stand by what I said. I absolutely hate the way your father is treating you. You. But I cut him off before he can say it. I know him. And more importantly, I know that look on his face. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want him to justify it or somehow act like it was acceptable. No matter what happens, that is absolutely the one thing I can't accept. If that's how he regularly treats you, then I'll say this now. I hate your father. Uh-huh? You deserve better than to be treated like that. I'll hate anyone who does. Come on. That much should already be obvious. It's not that bad. He means what... Stop. Shuichi bites his lip, still avoiding my gaze. He's not the type to ask for help. In fact, he's the type to blame himself for everything. I hate that about him. And even more than that, I hate the fact it took me so long to notice. If we hadn't begun dating and he hadn't taken so much of my attention lately, I might never have noticed. That thought alone scares me more than anything. But it's because he doesn't take proper care of himself that I'm gonna have to be pushy. I need to look out for him until he starts looking out for himself. That's the decision I've come to, and I'm not backing down from it. I understand you want to keep the peace for now. I hate that that's what you want, but I understand it. But you and I are gonna have to start looking into ways for you to fix this situation. What? I'm not expecting anything to change overnight, but I'm gonna work on fixing that screwed up thought process of yours. Until you can stand up for yourself. I never want to see you retreating like that ever again. I don't know. It's alright. I'll help you with that. You know I'm here for you. Yeah. Shuichi crosses his arms, hugging them tightly and close to his body. His entire body is quivering slightly as he looks away from me, his voice hushed and barely more than a whisper, breaking even though he's barely said a single word. I will also admit that it really hurt me to see you standing quietly like that. It felt like I had your back and you didn't have mine. I know we're both still new to this whole thing with our relationship. But that really hurt to see you let me take the heat like that without a word. Yeah. Shuichi's lips waver. He takes deep breaths, leaning his back against the wall and trying to stabilize himself. His eyes glisten even more against the sunlight, misty and with small droplets beginning to form. It wasn't my intention to make him cry, but I really feel like I needed to get it all off my chest. If I didn't, then I'd definitely regret it. I placed a hand on his shoulder, squeezing it lightly in an attempt to be reassuring. If there wasn't a risk of being seen, I'd give him a tight hug, but I don't want to call attention to us. Especially not when Shuichi's so vulnerable. I want to minimize the risk of people seeing this as much as possible. I stand by in silence, just trying to let him feel me nearby. It takes a couple minutes, but Shuichi manages to recompose himself little by little. This would probably be a good chance to continue with what I had to say. It feels really good to have been able to get it off my chest. Although I admit that it felt More like I was talking at Shuichi instead of to him. For the time being, maybe we should look into a way for you to spend more time out of the house? For the time being? That's way too big an ask for you to call it that. Not necessarily. What if you started spending a few nights a week at your mom's? She still lives in your childhood home, right? That means you still have a room there. Shuichi chokes, his eyes going wide once he hears the words I have to say. Immediately upon hearing them, he takes an instinctive step away from me, hugging his arms close to his body and looking away. I can't. Come on. I know you have your reservations, but don't you think it's about time? She probably wouldn't want to see me. She's your mother. You know there's no way that's true. You're just making excuses again. Besides, I'm sure Hitoka-chan would enjoy seeing more of you, don't you think? I guess. Don't sound so meek about it. What's even holding you back at this point? Can't we talk about this later? I don't think now's a good time. What? No, we can't talk about it later. We've already gotten this far, and it's not like this wasn't a difficult conversation to begin with. It's better to say everything that needs to be said instead of letting it loom over our heads. I know I'm not going to be able to feel at ease until then. But just tell me already why you're so hesitant to do it. I'm sure it can't be a big deal. I told you before. I feel guilty. Why guilty? You're not the reason they got divorced. You know that, right? I agreed to go with Dad after without even being asked. I chose it of my own free will. Mom wanted to get custody of both of us, but I knew there was no way that was going to happen, so I just chose to go. Because I wanted Hitoka to stay with Mom no matter what. Still, I also know it hurt her a lot. I basically gave up. She wanted me there, and I said no. That's just a bad situation. It's not your fault. That's easy for you to say. I don't know what I should do. I feel the need to say something, but I have no idea what. The whole thing sounds absurd to me, but for Shuichi, that's the reality he lives in. Should I even push the issue? Wouldn't he just get mad at me if I did? I still think you should at least try. Isn't that all you can really do? Just try your best. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you again. At the very least, I can't imagine her ever being angry at you. She probably missed you more than anyone else. Please don't say things like that. All I'm saying is... Stop! Why are you yelling at me? Shuichi raises his voice so suddenly that I nearly jump back out of reflex. The fur around my neck bristles up and stands at attention. I asked you to stop. I don't want to hear this. Come on. Why are you getting mad all of a sudden? I don't want to hear it. This is bad. Shuichi's tail is thrashing behind him. He's usually not the type to get angry this quickly. Is this a touchy subject for him? I hadn't even considered the possibility that it could be. I suppose it makes sense, but still. Can I really just leave things as they are? If I do, then nothing will really change, will it? No, I have to say it. Because if I don't, you'll just refuse outright. You can be so stubborn over the stupidest things. Although it might be a mean thing to call this stupid. I get that you have your own hang-ups about it, but enough is enough. Look, I know you feel guilty about it. I get it. Maybe I'm the lucky one since I never had to deal with that sort of thing. Maybe I just can't understand what you went through. Well, that's not what I... But you can't just keep hiding from it. The longer you stay away, the harder it'll be to reconnect. Besides, you do want to see her, don't you? It's not that easy. Sure it is. You just have to want it to be instead of digging your 2 feet into the ground like a stubborn mule. Honestly, you frustrate me to no end sometimes. Dumbass. Have all you want, but you know I'm right. There's no way your mother wouldn't want to see you. You're her son, for crying out loud. Just go to her and mend that bridge. Besides, it would go a long way towards making you less dependent on your dad. Shuichi's clutch around his arm tightens. Part of me can't help but think he's going to end up puncturing himself like that. And yet, little by little, his gaze begins to soften. I see the tension vanishing from his shoulders. It seems my words managed to reach him to some degree. Or at least he isn't rejecting them outright. Even that would already be a big step forward. I'll think about it. Yeah, that's all I'm really asking for. Just don't reject me without giving it some thought. Shuichi nods. I do want to see her. Just those words by themselves are enough. I feel a weight lifting from my shoulders once I hear that. The validation that I made the right choice. I knew having this conversation wouldn't be easy, but still. Once the tension starts leaving my body, I begin to realize I feel exhausted. The day has barely started, and I already feel like I could just crawl into bed and shut down. You all right there, big guy? I don't know. I have a lot of stuff on my mind. At least we were able to talk, right? It still beats not talking at all. Of course. I'm glad I was able to talk to you again. I always am. I just felt too awkward to take that first step after what happened. I guess that means I'm lacking in maturity, right? Huh? We'll get there. Communication is hard. No kidding. Shuichi places a hand on his chest, taking a deep breath and sighing. I'll admit that it was good to get some things off my chest. But man, I feel really beat all of a sudden. I kind of want to point out he barely even spoke in the first place, but that would probably be uncalled for. I'm gonna head out now. I have a lot I need to get done before classes start. Thank you for talking to me. It feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Of course. I'm always here for you. You know that. It's definitely reassuring to hear. Talk to you later. Shuichi walks away, a slight and crooked smile on his face. Despite the overall awkwardness, I definitely feel like we've managed to push forward somehow. And I probably need to figure out what to do with myself until classes start in over an hour. Probably gonna take a nap until then. Yay, unlike my first playthrough, there's not a bunch of yelling. The bell finally rings, bringing a start to lunch break. I quickly put away my notebook inside my bag, giving one last quick glance to the notes I'd taken today. Somehow I do feel a slight sense of pride for working so hard on these. Sure, it might just have been one day, but I do feel like it's still progress. I'm sure Shuichi would be proud of me too for working hard. He's always been the loudest proponent that I needed to take my studies more seriously. I still find it a bit pointless since I'm not planning on going to college, but if it makes him happy, then I want to do it. It's not like it's any sweat off my back. I sneak a glance at the vacant seat next to me. Today again, Jun has failed to show up for class without a word. He also hasn't really answered the message I sent him yesterday. Really don't like this, but I can't chase after him for some kind of answer. He'll talk to me when he talks to me. Knowing him, he'll probably just waltz back into class at some point like nothing happened. That is definitely very much like him. The back door to the class is opened suddenly, with Sai and Shuichi quickly entering the room. Us! Pardon the intrusion. The two of them give very different greetings from one another and yet are equally well received. A few of my classmates smile and wave at them, returning their greetings in kind. Those two, Sai in particular, have always had a lot more ties to our classmates than I did. Come to think of it, I really did spend the last 3 years acting as a lone wolf kind of guy. Saya and Shuichi and then last year Keisuke, I barely talked to anyone other than these three unless it was some really short conversation about games or food or some such. I really hope I don't end up becoming some kind of antisocial mess. That would really suck. Sup? You two sure do manage to arrive here together pretty often considering you're not even in the same class. Well, our class is neighbor years on both ends, so we have to walk the exact same distance. I guess that makes sense. They both pull up chairs and sit with me, digging inside their bags for their lunches. Hey, you're also in a good mood. That's great. What? Don't mind her. Obviously, I know what she means considering what she talked to me about yesterday. There's no real reason to bring Shuichi into this. If anything, it'd only make him feel self-conscious. So, how are you guys doing? It must be a relief to be done with exams, huh? No need to study like crazy anymore for now. Sort of. You probably shouldn't stop studying regardless. You need to be prepared for the next exams. Come on. There's gotta be a limit to how righteous you can be. Asaya fidgets on her seat, humming happily in a quite loud fashion. Okay, you're definitely trying to get our attention, aren't you? I'm just really happy. How come? This is the first time we get to hang out, the three of us together, since you guys told me about you two. Uh-huh. That's a reason to be happy. Hey, who else knows? Does anyone else know? Aren't you getting a little bit too excited over this? We were hoping not to make this a big deal. Definitely doesn't set a good precedent for telling the others. Well, of course I'm gonna be happy. What did she say? Gah. I've known Shuichi's been in not so loud. Shuichi nearly lunges forward from his seat, clasping his hands around Sai's muzzle to keeping her from continuing to talk. Are you trying to out us to everyone? Sorry. She mumbles almost unintelligibly, despite her mouth still being forced shut, her brows furrowing a little. I thought my heart was gonna stop. Same here. Sorry, I was just a bit overexcited. Just try being a bit careful. I know that's a big ask for you, but still. What? It's not a big ask. I can be careful. Yeah, sure. It's because you're careful that I had to hold your mouth shut. One single mistake doesn't establish a precedent. Keep telling yourself that. Anyway, who else did you tell? You're still on that? Of course! It's huge news! No one much. We haven't told anyone else as far as I recall. there is Haruki. Oh, right. Haruki? Isaya cocks her head to the side. Oh, wait. Is that the angry wolf dude that's in the volleyball team? The same. He's a handful, to say the least. Out of all the people you could have told, why a guy like that? It's not like we picked him out of a lineup. He had figured Shuichi out just like you and meddled. From what you've told me about what he did, meddled is putting it nicely. Hey, don't be like that. The last thing I want to have to deal with now is a pouty, jealous Shuichi. What did he do? Kissed you, for starters. Huh? Having one person try to be as quiet as possible only be followed by someone being as loud as possible definitely feels a little amusing to see. Even if that piercing shriek just made my ears hurt. Volume? Sorry. But how did he... No. Why did... When? To be fair, I'm pretty sure he was just messing with me there. How is that better? He didn't mean anything by it? Uh-huh. For what it's worth, he also helped me figure out my feelings. And he's also the one who first planted the idea of Shuichi having feelings for me in my head. He's probably the only reason I ever figured it out. If that hadn't happened, then... well, none of this would have happened. Yeah... still doesn't sit well with me. Come on, it was a while ago. You hadn't even brought it up again until now, so why are you making a big deal out of it? Your ability to just live and let live and forget everything really scares me sometimes. Just because I'm not complaining about it doesn't mean I like it. I guess? This is a lot of information to try and process so quickly. Well, you did get the abridged version. And he's the only other person who knows? We haven't told anyone else, but I think Aki might be starting to suspect it. He's another one that is really perceptive. Yeah. I'm really lucky Hitoka is dumb as bricks when it comes to certain things. I'm not sure how she'd take the news if she found out. She does have a huge crush on Yuichi-kun that's lasted for years now. And I still don't know what I did to deserve it. Guess both siblings have the same taste in men, huh? Well, that's apparently true. I still wish you hadn't said it. Sorry. Oh, I know. I know what I want to know. Have you guys kissed yet? What? Oh, stop cutting him off. What? That's really well, yeah. Don't just tell her that stuff. We've been dating for nearly a month. That much is already a given. I guess. Okay then, I have another question. What is it this time? Isaya hunches a little forward, causing us to reflexively do the same, looking like a trio of co-conspirators trying to talk in hushed whispers. Have you guys done it yet? Whoa, there's no way I'm answering that. No way in hell. Come on, it's not a big deal. Go to hell, you perverted Fujoshi. I don't think it was a bad question. The Shuichi's face is redder than I've ever seen it before. If at all possible, it's even redder than it was when we had sex. That's saying something. I guess without all the horny adrenaline, things become a lot more embarrassing. You okay there? Your brain hasn't turned to mush or anything yet, has it? The Shuichi nods slowly. There's no change to his facial expression, though. Come on, take a deep breath. It's not that big a deal. I place a hand on top of his, giving it a faint, reassuring squeeze. Shuichi tries doing as I say, closing his eyes and putting a hand on his chest, breathing in and out deeply a few times. That's a really bad question to ask. It's not that bad. You really are a perverted Fujoshi. Not you too! What else do you expect us to say to that? That's a really vulgar question, no matter how you cut it. Okay. I'm sorry for asking. Jeez. You've got no delicacy at all. You really are a crude woman. Hey, that's going a little too far. The three of us continue on a cheerful back and forth for the rest of lunch break, fielding an unending barrage of questions from Saya. We constantly have to steer away from the subject since she insists on asking risque questions. By the time I'm finally done practicing for today, the sky is already threatening to go fully dark. I didn't even realize how late it got. Coach had to actually usher a lot of us out because we were staying way longer than usual. I guess everyone was raring to practice again after the extended vacation we took from the club. As soon as I step outside the gym with my bag around my shoulder, I look around and notice someone's figure. Shuichi is leaning against the gym wall, his bag on one hand and his phone on the other. He's staring idly at his phone without noticing that I've just gotten out. Shuichi? His ears twitch as soon as I call out to him. He looks up and greets me with a smile, his tail swaying a little behind him. Oh, there you are. Did your practice run late today or something? Sort of. A few of us just lost track of time, I suppose. I bet. I came here to ask if I could go to your place and spend a little bit of time with you after practice. Oh, but since it ran late, it's almost my cure for you by now. I actually have to run in just a bit, or I'm gonna be late. Oh, right. Shuichi looks around for a bit before grabbing my wrist and tugging me. What are you doing? Come with me real quick. Shuichi brings me to a spot between the gym buildings and the school's outer wall. The shadows of the two tall walls make the place seem a bit dark, even with the sun's orange light shining in the sky. There. No one around here. What was that for? Shuichi takes one step closer to me, pressing me against the wall and leaving little room for me to stand. He quickly lowers his head and presses his lips against mine. I've already gotten used to enough to kissing that as soon as the surprise washes over me, I close my eyes and kiss back. He playfully nibbles on my lips for a second or two before pulling away again. I didn't want to leave without a kiss goodbye first. You dork. You risked being late just for that? Of course. I didn't get a chance to kiss you at all in a while. I needed to get it out of my system. To be honest, I could probably fool around with you for a little while longer, but then I'd definitely be late. I don't think my heart would be able to handle a makeout session in public just yet. That's a good point, too. Well, I'm gonna run now. And I mean that literally. I'm gonna run home so I don't take any more risks. See you tomorrow. See you. Jeez, he's such a big dork. But I suddenly feel really invigorated now. I guess it wouldn't hurt to go for a jog and exercise a bit before I go home. And burn off the giddiness. Short one to get back into it. Yeah, Happy New Year. I actually get to see new stuff now. But I'm doing the good route. Yay. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you next time. Bye!